Good morning, everybody. Hope you all played the election better than I did. I tried to go to bed about midnight last night and was up too late by even going to bed at midnight, and then hopped out of bed at 1:30 just in time to catch the Trump acceptance speech. And 3:30, tried to go back to sleep. And so, very short night, but well worth it. We saw history made last night. A true complete outsider was able to beat every machine that was out there that was arrayed against him. And I think this Nassim Taleb, whose books I really do like, summed it up the best. It's he had written an article a month or so ago titled "Intellectual Yet Idiot," and I think his article is very apropos. The markets are reacting the way that you'd expect them. The inverse relationship between treasuries and the E-mini is there. The initial reaction for treasuries was a rally. Flight to quality, people scared to death. The E-mini has since come back and treasuries are down. We have the 10-year auction today, and it's really hard to move paper in a down market, so at some point we ought to get see some support. Gold is up, flight to quality. Euro is up, dollar is down. Yen is up. Crude oil has been up and down. Crude oil is probably going to be the most stable market we can trade today. But we do have the EIA report. And last night, crude saw a build of 4.4 million barrels, which means the EIA number, the market should, inventory should grow. It's forecast to grow 1.3. They've been aligned directionally. A draw in the APIs has gotten us a draw in the EIA's numbers, and the converse is true if there's been a build. Last night API API numbers were mitigated by a big draw in gasoline and diesel fuel. Historically referred to as heating oil. So I think we got more selling to come this morning. We've broken every level of support in treasuries. Remember, we've talked about that if Trump did manage a win, interest rates would go up for sure. So the December interest rate increases there, and now they'll be playing as opposed to 1 to 2 interest rate increases in 2017. It'll jump up to 4. And so the interest rate market is pointed lower right now. Treasuries are pointed lower. Stock market should probably sell off of this too. If Wall Street is so far behind and was behind Hillary, she didn't win. And the initial reaction, we were limit down in the NASDAQ and E-mini for a while. The Dow was off over 700 points at one time. Maybe even more than that. That's what I saw on a headline basis. I have since recovered. Now, if you take a look at Trump's 28 points on his platform, lower taxes, get rid of rules and regulations, build the fence, get illegal immigration under control, and figure out what to do later with the people that are already here, open up all areas of energy on federal lands and private lands for uranium, coal, gas, natural gas, and crude, whatever you want to do. Everything that he's proposed is economically sound and will get the country growing at a higher growth rate once the washout is through. But right now, you can bet that the current administration and probably the Fed will do everything they can to try to paint Trump as a bad guy economically so they can use it to run in a future election. And the meme will be, look what happened when you got Trump in there. You know, the economy crashed. We had an economy that was recovering from the worst recession ever. Not really true, but that's the stories that we'll get. But if you look at Trump's proposed economic policy and his industrial and tax policy, it is good for growth. And at some point that'll kick back in. So We've been talking about a market correction of 5 to 10% if Trump got elected. We'll see if that happens. If that is the case, the E-mini does happen to sell 5 to 10%, it'll help find a bottom in treasuries. That's what we'll be looking for. Our levels are going to be very, very difficult to really project this morning. I mean, if I just take a look at where the rotations are, we've got 6.5, we've got 12.5, got a nice little edge basically at 16. We have a spill from 19. We've got a high at 24. So, 4 to 8 will be sell 1. 12 to 16 for what it's worth, and I mean it's going to be tough to come up with a the correct levels today given the volatility. We should anticipate. You can't trade without stops, but your stops are going to have to be wider. Stops below 20 are within reach, so we'll make a 17 to 21 buy 1, and then 5 to 9 buy 2, and we'll have to adjust as we go along. Once the washout is over, we should anticipate sideways development. And right now we're at 28. Maybe the sell's at 31 against the buck. It is just really difficult to say. So we'll make 29 even to 04, sell 1, and we'll make 12 to 16, sell 2. On the buy side, we'll put 17 to 21, and then 5 to 9, and we'll just have to see what happens. Today, with a lot of range and a lot of volatility, getting a trade on is more important than trade location. In a sideways or bracketed market, trade location is more important than just getting a trade on. You have to have trade location in a bracketed market to make money. Okay, looking at the bond, like 59.12, 59.25. These are 12-tick increments. 60.04. So you can see we're running up in 12-tick increments until we get right here, and then there's 14 or 16. We've got so 12-tick increments are kind of where we should anticipate support. Got a low at 58.12. We're currently at 59.07. So our first band of support is going to be 28 to the buck. Let's make 17 to 21 buy 1, and then 01 to 5 buy 2. 10-year auction ought to kick in at some point today. 12 to 16, number 1. So 20, 24, sell 1. 160 even, 160, 08, 04, sell 2. And I've got my screen on 3-tick increments to get that on. We had a 7-point range in the bond last night. So currently at 8, so 12 to 16, number 1. 20 to 24, sell 1. Maybe 24 to 28. It's tough to read 3-tick increments. Then we'll make it 60.04, 08. Just have to see what happens. And probably what's going to happen to us this morning is that we're going to have to trade development. Frank, you're in Chicago right now. You know damn well. damn well they would do that, and I know you're being facetious, but the Chicago politics aren't very pretty in Chicago, and it's really, really ugly when you take them to a national level, and that's what we've been living under for the last 8 years. In fact, the city of Chicago might be the loci of bad policy for the entire Western world. Good way to get rich if you're in the inner circle, but beyond that, not so nice. I could have been much worse in my characterization of what's come out of Chicago nationally. Okay, we're going to I guess we're going to go to $2 increments on gold. We'll see what that looks like. So, again, this is $2 increments, and it is pretty wide. Hello, Peter. I know you're smiling from ear to ear, although California probably went, what was the percentage out there that went for Clinton? Like 60 to 40 or something, 55 to 45, something like that? I haven't looked. Of course you know that, Frank. You're well schooled. Okay, we got up to 1337 on gold before it came back. And again, just looking at, got the London high at 1313. We've got the Frankfurt high at 1323. We've got the 2-letter ledge at 1333. So it looks like we're trading in $10 increments and $3 outside of market numbers. Has to be where the market is trading. There's not going to be a stop left unturned. That's an understatement, Peter. I had to go back to 5 layouts before I could find one that worked. So, could be an issue. No Renko charts or F5s for me today to speak of. If you're on an F5, take it to 6 to 10. Don't try to run it take it to 10. Okay, on the support side, we had the London low at 91, so there's our 93. We had the Asian breakout at 85, so 13, so we're going to sell 10s to 15s for sell 1, 20s to 25s for sell 2. On the buy side, 90 to 95, buy 1. 80 to 85, buy 2. Again, economically, the proposed policy from the Trump camp is actually economically supportive. Every nation in the world that has tried this, it's worked, and it's worked historically. So, what we have right now is a chance for getting our economic footing back underneath us. And I think most people, from my perspective that I've talked to, no one has ever talked in terms of deporting however many. It's certainly higher than 11 million people. That number's been around forever, so you got to figure that. So we've had a high of 113 plus, and we had a low of 110. So we've had a 3-point range. Let me go back and 89.90. So see what this looks like. Maybe we can get a little better read on it on this. Yeah, but the software is going to be an issue today on slowdowns. F5 screens and Rinkos are going to. Now, if you don't have a lot of skill and you can't handle volatility, let things slow down and we'll work on trading development. Well, Jeff, you know what the difference between a Mexican and a mestizo is? If we're going to get down that deep in the grass to come up with a label. A mestizo, no Spanish blood. The original Indians, Aztecs, etc. A Mexican. The lighter and fairer your skin, the more Spanish blood you have in it, the greater your social stature. And mestizos, some of them don't even speak Spanish. They speak their own, they have their own dialect. So interesting. Okay, on the euro, let's just go up here and try to. Looks like 110.75. $111. Looks like it's trading in 25 handle 25. 11.25. 11.54. So it's about 25 cents. 20. Where we are right now, and I don't see where the last trade is. Last trade's at 110.17. There we are. So what the hell? 110 even by 1. 9.75 by 2. On the sell side, 10.50 sell 1. 10.75 sell 2. Trump's economic policies over time should take the euro down. Finally, we found a contract where Charlie could do the math this morning. A problem. Okay, crude's probably going to be the easiest market for us to trade today. And unfortunately, it's EIA inventory day, and that usually means a 40 to 50 tick range. Might be a little different today. So we have this in nickel increments, and we've got a seller at 45.25 to 50, and then so we'll make it 75 to the buck. On the buy side, looks like 44 and a quarter, 44.50 by 1, and then 43.75, 44 by 2. Got a little deeper than our numbers last night on the buy side, but on the sell side, our numbers were pretty good. And last but not least, the E-mini. Yeah, there'll be a lot of self-deportation if there aren't jobs here. Back to the Mexican economy, because of all the industry that we've exported to Mexico is actually better than ours, or has been. Okay, here we are at 06. We've got this spill. Last rotate in Asia was 25. So 10 to 15, sell 1. 20 to 25, sell 2, and you can see we've got it on 2-point increments here, so things are going to be pretty tight. 95, and we got a low at 89, and we have the London low at 75. So we're at 05, so I'm going to make it 85 to 90 by 1, 70 to 75 by 2. I think if they get, I think the selling levels will be tighter or closer in than the buying levels if the selling gets going this morning. Well, it's going to take a while to get everything up and posted. Sorry for the delays this morning, but what a night we've had. So let's just sit back and regroup and get everything tuned up where we can be actively trading again. Maybe not today, but by the end of the week. Back with you as soon as possible.